Hi, welcome to the Popcorn Talks, iTalk Movies. I'm in studio today with Brittany Ishibashi. She stars in the brand new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows. She is the only female villain in the movie. She has a black belt in Taekwondo. I am a little bit scared, you guys. Let's get started.
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk, we talk movies. And now, here's Popcorn Talks, iTalk Movies.
Hi, and thank you for joining us today on what promises to definitely be a fun show. I'm your host, Zoe Hewitt. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Zoe Said What. That's Zoe Said What. Brittany, before we go any further, Where can everyone find you?
Instagram, Facebook, Twitter at Britt Ishibashi. That's BrittishiBashi.
Very nice. And so glad to have you in studio today.
Thank you for having me.
Every time I hear that you're in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I can't help but think of the cartoon theme song, and it starts going through my head like an addiction.
It's a pretty good theme song.
It's so catchy.
Yeah.
Now, how often, or did you ever actually start singing this on set?
Oh, you know what? I wish we could have gotten a video of all of us singing this on set. I wish this could be the theme song for our new movie. But we never actually captured all of us rocking the OG theme song. Yeah,
exactly. Like if you're gonna rock out to some cartoon, right?
That's probably the only one. Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Now, the Turtles have been around since their very first comic book appearance back in 1984, so it's been a long time. The comics concluded in 2014. Mm-hmm. We got a reboot movie, and now we get this movie, which is considered a soft reboot.
Yeah.
So, can you tell everyone the basic premise of the movie?
So, we get to break Shredder out of prison. And there are a lot of new villains actually that come out for this one, and the Turtles have to come out of the shadows to try and save the world from all of our evil doing.
And I like how you really tied that in. Very good. Way to work the title. Now, as the only female villain in the film, did you feel like you were stepping into a boys' club a little bit?
No, absolutely not. I feel like playing the character of Karai, she's so capable, and she is really good at what she does, loves that she's good at what she does, and will get the job done. And I feel like also a lot of the other male villains that we have, namely Bebop and Rocksteady, are kind of goofballs, and so she was in no way threatened by them. In fact, maybe she just felt a little bit just annoyed, and that she was responsible for keeping them in line. But we have some pretty cool villains in this movie. It was cool to play with Baxter Stockman. Obviously, Shredder is amazing, and Brian T is amazing playing Shredder. And then we all get to see Krang in this movie, which I know a lot of people are freaking out about.
Everyone's like, woo!
It's finally! Yeah.
And so there's a lot of pressure when you're coming into a franchise that has been around since 1984.
Way before I was born.
To really, make it good and to be in line with how people see the character. So how did you feel that pressure?
Well, it's tremendous. It's a constant evaluation, I feel like, because you want to be loyal to the originals, and you want to honor the characters, and the fans are expecting to see that. And so any little step outside of, I feel like, what people are used to or expecting to see is, you have to just be very cautious. But what I loved about playing Karai is she is such just a badass. She's just such an incredible warrior, and I just knew that if I was loyal to that, and I could make her the most awesome ninja that I could, and I think the fans will be pretty happy. And we have some really cool fight scenes.
Oh, well, I can't wait. And we've got some really great photos of you heading to set. I mean, you looked like a badass as well. And that was some skin-tight clothing, too. Let's see if we get our photos up for our viewers. But, I mean, that was skin-tight. How did you feel pulling on that clothing?
That was, molded onto me. And that was my first experience working in kind of a blockbustery, character costume, where they actually scan your body and mold the whole thing to you. And wearing something like that, you really have no choice but to become the character when you're strapped into it. There's just you that's all you're going to be for that day, for those 16 hours. And you have no, I mean, I felt like a villain. I felt like Karai every time I pulled that leather on. And the only thing that was hard was I had to plan bathroom breaks ahead of time, a good 2 hours. I'd be okay, well, and it takes 20 minutes to get in and out of this thing. And then the other thing that was cool with the costume was we had these cooling suits. I don't know if you've ever seen these or heard of these. I guess it's something that NASA created for the astronauts, but it's basically Under Armour. The movie industry decided to pick up this technology, and you wear it under your skin-tight superhero outfit, and it has piping running up and down the whole thing, and in between takes, they literally just plug you in, and it shoots ice-cold water up and down these little tubes, and your body temperature like drops 15 degrees immediately. So working in the summers in New York was a godsend. It was awesome.
That is so fascinating.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
They were so great.
So is it like a shock then when you feel that cold along your body?
Oh yeah. But then afterwards, it was like a thrill. But the first time it happened, you were like, "What is happening?" But it was, and especially like I know with Brian with the Shredder's costume too, and there were so many elements to that as well. And then when you're wearing leather and it's summer in Manhattan, you need a little help.
So did you have to, this might sound so weird. Oh, and here we've got the photos up, I think, of you. So here you are all covered up going to set, and we've got the one where we can see the costume, which is so fabulous. There it is. So
I miss that outfit and that hair.
You didn't get to take that outfit home with you?
I did not take
You don't wear that at home?
I know, right? Just putting the kids to bed or going to the grocery store. That'd be cool.
So how do you get leather off when it's summer in New York?
It's gross. I mean, it's a long process. There were 3 people who would always have to come to the room to I was just, all right, hold on to something. That thing just gets pulled off. But we did it day after day.
I mean, that is really fascinating. And you mentioned that your body was scanned. So
Yeah,
how did they make it?
There was I did it out here in LA, and they can make sure they get every single measurement accurate, and then that's where they created all like the molded bodice and the the hip pieces and all the shoulder stuff. It's such a cool like modern samurai outfit. And I love that the hair is kind of like a weapon too.
Yeah, like
the
all of you was so
samurai knots.
badass. I mean, that's
She's
the best.
deadly.
Yeah, the best
Oh,
term
yeah.
for it. I mean, I just imagine that the wardrobe department just came up with their design, did some cutting, did some sewing, and bam, you had an outfit. But the fact that you were scanned is really fascinating.
And it all happened so fast. I have so much respect for every department in this industry, but watching them work so quickly and put that all together and flying between LA and New York and making that all happen was really impressive.
And so how long did it take to get the costume end of things completed?
I think from like first fitting all the way to when I was on set, it was a couple weeks. Like it was super, they were doing last minute alterations like down to like my first shoot day, but it was relatively quick for that thing. Like,
And how do you fight in something like that? Carefully.
I had stunt pants that were
No way.
that had a little more give in the crotch area, because if I tried to kick in those, I'd be like getting their shins. So I had to have pants with a little more give to them, and then they would just kind of loosen all the bindings and things, so I had more movement. Because when you're just in the show costume, I was just kind of like always a soldier.
I mean, that's fascinating.
So we had 2 different outfits.
And so was there a reason then you couldn't wear the quote-unquote, I guess, more comfortable one on a regular basis?
It wasn't as sleek because it was a little, like it wasn't as form-fitting because it had to have more give, and then also because I would fight in it, it would get torn up and they had to always repair it. And so it was, we had like our picture wardrobe, and then we had this one can get dirty. We'll roll around the top of a skyscraper in this one, and then we had that one. Yeah.
That is so neat. And fight choreography to me is so fascinating. I just can't even imagine how it gets put together. So how do you even begin to learn the choreography?
So we had an amazing stunt team, 8711. I was a huge fan of their work. They have such a great understanding of character and story that they incorporate into their choreography, and it was pretty fast. I grew up as a training in martial arts and have a black belt, and I had forgotten that I hadn't been training for a few years, and I had just had a baby. So when I got the part, they were like, "So you're a martial artist?" And I said, "Oh yeah, I can do all my own stunts, easy." And forgetting that, like, oh no, your body is a lot different. You have not been stretching out on a regular basis and training for 3 hours a day. And so I jumped in for that first day of stunt rehearsals, and I was so sore, like breathing through it. And the stunt guys were so great, and they were saying, okay, well, let's videotape it so you can watch it, so you can take the tape home and just keep practicing, and then we'll have Natalie, your double, do it as well, so you can reference and kind of compare. And I was like, okay, cool. So we did mine. I watched it, and I was like, all right, it's not bad. And they had Natalie step in and do it, and it was like 20 times faster, and just she would jump way higher, and like it just looked so much cooler when she did it. And I was like, I have a lot of work to do, but it was. They were fantastic. They taught it, just broke it down like steps of a dance. And then I would go home and take a 30-minute Epsom salt bath and then a couple will leave and then wake up and do it all again.
So, but you wound up doing pretty much all of your own stunts in the film, other than some of the aerial work, because of course they had to be concerned, had to be careful that they weren't going to lose their star.
I wanted to. I was like, put me in, coach. I can strap a harness on me. I can do it. I trust you guys. And they were like, well, you just tone it down a little bit. But yeah, no. Natalie Padilla, who did all my stunts when we shot last summer, was amazing. And
so how much interaction do you actually have with your stunt double?
Oh, a lot. I mean, a lot. And we would work together a lot in between takes or offset too, just to make sure we had similar even ways of walking or holding our head or in response to a line, how quickly we would, there were so many little details that I didn't even think of when I was thinking about fight choreography and doubling that we had to work out so that it was as natural and seamless as possible.
I mean, that's fascinating, right? Who would have thought of that you have to be concerned about even how you walk? I guess I just sort of imagined, the stunt double comes in and is like tagging your teammate in. Right. They go in, they do the stunts, and bam, you're back. But no.
There was a lot more to it. Yeah.
And so when you did the choreography, when you did the fight scenes, how much did you do at once? Was it like you do, so to speak, the whole dance at once, or did you do pieces?
Both. So we would generally do like the big master first, and they would have the big, the big camera up on the crane and a big wide shot. We would try and just mark the whole overall thing, and it would be a lot slower for safety, and also just because I was like, what comes next? And then they'd plug in. So like I would always do my side with, the stunt doubles, and then the actors on that side would do their choreography with my stunt double, just to make sure it was as safe as possible.
I was going to ask involved. To make sure you were okay. Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So that, I wouldn't be kicking someone for real that was not a trained stunt person.
And so when you actually got the part, did that factor in your background in Taekwondo? Did they ask you about it? Did you have to demonstrate?
I didn't have to demonstrate. When I went in for the role, it was very vague, and they weren't releasing any. It was very secret. They didn't give the script or the sides. They didn't even give a character name. They just said, we want to see Brittany for this female soldier. And I remember my manager calling, was like, I don't know what this is. Like, I don't know if you want to go in on this. And I remember thinking, I bet it's Karai. I bet they're putting Karai in this movie. And I was like, I'm going in. Oh, I'm for sure going in. And we went in, and they gave you the material there, and we played with it. And at the very end, they didn't ask if I did martial arts or anything. And I said, just out of curiosity, or if you guys need to know, I am a black belt, and I'm trained in weaponry and fight choreography. And they were like, oh,
yeah, she got the part.
Great. So who knows? But it was a lot of fun. And it was definitely my first time being able to do something like this on this scale.
Yeah, because we haven't seen you do, despite this amazing background with martial arts, we don't see you in that role a lot. So it must have been equally as fun and perhaps as daunting for you as well.
Oh, and terrifying. And also because I was so eager and so enthusiastic, and I always throw myself into everything. The first day that we had our big fight scene, I threw myself into the first move and sprained my wrist.
First day.
Because I was so overeager, and they were like, just take it not even a quarter of the speed. Just take it slow. It's fine. I was like, yeah, okay. And I just jumped into it, and I landed on my wrist. I jammed it on this. There was a safety mat they had, and I landed funny. I overshot it, and I just jammed my wrist, and I was like, I'm out for the day. I couldn't put any pressure on it whatsoever. And then I felt awful. I was like, I'm getting fired. They're putting me on a plane tonight. I'm going home. But it was
awful and nerve-wracking.
Oh, it was awful. But they made it work, and they used my stunt double for all that stuff they had to shoot that day, and then I was back the next.
I mean, they have to factor, I would imagine, some sort of thing into the schedule of oops, actor might get hurt. I mean, on a movie like this.
Right. And the stunt team was amazing. At one point we did a stunt, and Tony, who doubles Will, got pulled back, and something happened where the crane, something got all twisted, ended up flying off, and something hit him, and he got this huge gash across, something just blood streaming down his face. I was terrified because it was a move that had come out of something that I did. And so I was like, oh my gosh, my imaginary kick that hit him from 5 feet away created a Bruce Lee-like force and cut his head off. But they were like, wasn't your fault at all. It was the way they pulled him on the crane. Anyway, long story short, he was like, flesh wound. He was fine. They went and they put this weird liquid bandage on it, and he was back in 2 minutes to do the stunt again.
So tough.
Such a tough.
This is why I could not be a stunt person at all. I'd be like, bleeding!
Yeah. Everybody stop! Yeah.
I mean, it's just so so fascinating to me. I think because I'm like such a big baby and I don't want to get hurt. And I hear these things, and I've been on set and I've seen stunts that have gone wrong, and it's terrifying.
It's scary. It's scary. Yeah. Especially when you hear all the stuff like with the maze run, like all these things that can happen. It's just it's dangerous.
Yeah. I mean, coming away with a sprained wrist is bad, and I mean, Harrison Ford was out of Star Wars. Yeah.
I have a really funny picture that I'll probably release after the movie's done, where I was doing a big fight scene and I broke a nail, and so I have like this really great outfit of like Karai being like super ninja, and I'm like, and I had like my nails broken.
Yeah, which is like, a big deal.
That was her injury for that day, but
at least that didn't send you off set.
Yeah, exactly.
So, what was your favorite part of the fighting? Do you have a specific move that you love, or a specific scene that you love?
Oh man, there was so much great stuff. There is one really big fight. I'm not sure what I can say, but
we won't tell.
But yeah, no one will know. But
it's just us.
But I got to do a lot of really fun work with daggers and swords, and it was all very fast and swirly, and that was really fun for me because I don't obviously get to work with martial arts on camera at all, and getting to actually use weapons and work on that whole side of stuff was really, really fun. And then to be able to take the practice daggers home and just work in my room and just practice all that stuff was like, this is just another Tuesday.
I'm a badass.
No big deal.
So they're not actually swords and daggers, right? What is the tip made of? Is it rubber?
No, they are real.
This will teach you to do it, right?
Yeah.
Bam!
Right. Silly actors.
Yeah.
No, they're just really beautiful look, and they're kind of made out of like a rubber, I guess. I mean, they will hurt if you get whacked with one, but they're not going to make you bleed.
So do you ever work with anything real, or it's always these reproduction props then?
For me, they were different kinds of the reproduction, or like the stunt weapons.
Which I also feel like it's so funny because then when I picture plastic, of course, that they just sort of bend and you guys are like doing these fights. Yeah. Take this. Like a rubber chicken.
Yeah.
Flops down.
It suddenly becomes an entirely different movie. Yeah.
But they're not. They look real.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Oh, no,
this is what movies do.
Which is what's so scary because you're like, is this I got the right one, right? This is okay.
And with guns, they have to put a little bit on to show that it's not real. So is there anything with daggers to show from far away that you're not touching a real dagger?
You mean for the actor safety, or
for
like
actor safety?
I mean, when I was working with another stunt person, they were like, just hit me with it. Like they were padded up, and it was. But obviously, when they were working with their weapon against an actor, there was always like a good, 2 foot, at least a 2 foot space in between.
Oh, so they don't fake hit, like actually come into contact?
Sometimes they would, depending on the stunt, but for the most part, if it was a long sequence of something, it's just safer and easier if you can just keep a little bit of if you're doing a big master all-in-one shot, it was just easier to keep some breathing room.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing what you can do with editing, right? That it looks like everyone is kicking each other's tushy, and
we
really,
were.
Yes. Of course you were. I'm sorry. Yes, you were kicking tush. But it really is so fascinating what can be edited in and cut together, and the sound effects, and how tough you guys have to be. And to make sure you don't hit the other person by mistake.
Right. That's a big worry. But it is. I saw a little bit of this stuff recently, and I mean, the editors. It looks so good. It looks really good. The fight scenes look really cool.
I mean, I bet, because a movie like this, people see for, of course, the mythology, people who love the turtles, but of course they also like to see the fighting. Like, that's why people go to these movies.
The big action
it has
sequences.
To be good.
Yeah, and there is a lot of great action in this movie. I think everyone's going to be really thrilled.
And I feel like that's such a cliffhanger. I'm like, and what other action can you tell us about?
Well, I know. There are some really big sequences that there's a lot of really fun stuff too you get to see with Bebop and Rocksteady, and all the mayhem that happens once they have the purple ooze and then they transform into mutants.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
And so you came in also with this character. You took over, actually, for another actress who was in, what was the reboot? This is the soft reboot.
Right.
So Minae Noji. And fans had already seen her. It was very brief. So did you feel like people were going to question, why is there another actress here? Or that there's a different bar set because people expect that she was the one who was there before?
Right. And that's always difficult. I feel like this is, we're just making a different movie, and I feel like, especially with all the different iterations of, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles over the years across the comics and the cartoons and all the, all the shows and stuff, I feel like there are always slight changes in the mythology or in the, in the story. So this is just a different take. And I watched that first movie. I loved what she did, and this one is just it's just a different look at it. Mm-hmm.
And yours wasn't the only character who was swapped out as well.
Right.
So it wasn't like
new
you were the only one coming in who was brand new.
Yeah. Brian T is excellent as Shredder. Also, side note, when they brought out his Shredder's helmet, it was a big deal. We were kind of playing with it, like, oh, look at this cool hat. And we dropped it on one of the mats, and the face guard fell off, and the prop master came running over and was like, can you just maybe just be a little more careful? This is a $25,000 hat. Wow. We were like, oh, I'm really sorry. Good luck wearing that, Brian. Have fun protecting that. He was like, oh.
I mean, that's a lot of pressure. Like when you have a costume custom made for your body, when you have a hat
this is a car
that.
on my head. I'm wearing a car.
Exactly. Yeah. Don't drive it away.
Right, exactly. Or drop it on the floor and break the faceplate off.
Yes, that too. Now, were the other main actors as adept in martial arts as you are?
Not that I'm aware. I mean, obviously, Stephen Amell is so crazy talented, and that what he can do with all of his stunts and training. I mean, I remember hearing all the stories from when he first got Arrow and all the work that he would do. But as far as martial arts background, I was the only villain that had that background.
Because the way I want to picture it, and I know this isn't what happened, but what I want to see is that all of you in between takes were play fighting all around the craft service table. Yeah. Bam!
Well, what's so funny is that, I grew up in martial arts with my two sisters, and it was kind of like a family bonding. We all got our black belts together. But when we would go home and we had sister fights, it was always or throwing a doll or pillow. It was we're black belts, but we never had fights around the house. It was, we saved that for the dojo. Yeah.
I mean, that's so funny. And I guess that also goes with knowing that you could create damage.
Right.
Knowing that you better not.
Right. It's not that big a deal. So you wore my shirt. I'm not going to try and kill you over it. Yeah.
Now, I also picture, and of course, different martial arts do different things, but I always think of chopping boards.
Oh, yeah.
So in Taekwondo, do you also chop boards?
Yeah, we broke a lot of boards. That was always really, it's just a really empowering feeling. And I remember for our big, our first black belt test, they have this thing where these, they have all of the second degree and third degree black belts come at you with these boards, and they set up a big fight scenario, and each one you have to break a different way, whether it's a jumping roundhouse, or just a an up, whatever it was. And we have all those videos at home, and it's super cool. It was a really cool experience.
So basically, your parents started training you for this movie when you were a teenager.
When I was a small child.
This is like going to the Olympics, right? Yeah. I started training at 3 years old.
I was bred for this.
Yes.
No, well, both my parents are in the performing arts, so we kind of were bred to be performers in a way. We kind of had no choice. We just kind of grew up backstage and in show business.
And there's a really cool story about how you semi-discovered Maroon 5, right? That your friend was playing. So tell this story. This is a great story.
Oh my gosh, I'm surprised you know this. So
I do my research.
So I went to UCLA with Mickey, and we I remember we just got along really well, and they were still Kara's Flowers at that point, and they were playing a show at the Troubadour, and I was like, I want to have my dad come out and check you guys out, because I think you guys are so awesome. And my dad's a concert promoter. I was like, Dad, you have to come check out my friend's band. I think they're really great, and they're gonna go places.
And your dad was like, do you just want to date, honey?
Right, yeah. He was like, who are these kids? But came to the show, and it was he's like, these kids there's something special. But I remember at the Troubadour sitting in the back room with him and talking to him, and he was just like, there's just one thing though, who's Kara? And what about her flowers? He's like, this name's got to go. It doesn't fit. And I remember he booked them for one of his shows in Orange County, and we still have the check from that we wrote. It was something silly, $500 or something for the band that was to become Maroon 5, and we have it framed in his office at home. But yeah, he came to check them out, and it was one of their first gigs, transitioning from Kara's Flowers to Maroon 5.
Oh, how funny.
Yeah.
And I mean, what a great story, like being there. And I feel like, and was there a date involved at all?
No dates. No dates. I was dating someone else at the time. But I remember it was so much, that was such a fun part of my college life, was like going to see them play at the little, the little pubs, like the little restaurants around Westwood. And it was just something we all, like all my girlfriends got together to go do on the weekends. It was really fun.
Sure, because like when you're in college and in LA, why not take advantage of all the great things there are here?
Oh yeah. And then it was just like, we're going to go support our buddies. Right. Like we're going to go watch. Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to go watch them. And you're taking, of course, advantage of LA with all these great roles that you keep booking. And a lot of movie contracts take care to lock people up in case there are sequels and sequels and sequels. So I don't know how much you can share about your contract, but does this mean like there's a good chance we might be seeing you in more movies?
Well, I know you mean specifically with...
For the Turtles.
For the Turtles.
Or if there's some other job you'd like to share
well,
now.
I don't know what I can say.
Dun, dun, dun.
I will say I love playing Karai. Oh man, this is a tricky question. And there has been buzz about doing a third movie, but I think that's pretty much all I can reference in that world.
Well, and I mean, the movie doesn't come out until June 3rd, so we still have a month of nail biting to see how it's going to do.
Happen. Do the turtles win?
Yes.
Is our world saved?
Yeah. Are you going to live to the end of the movie?
Another big question.
A big question, because you could just appear in flashbacks for the next ones.
Right. Her ghost.
Yes.
Her ghost comes back.
Exactly. Now, there are also some great promo shots that you were doing recently for the Turtles that you had posted on your Instagram. These great like behind the scenes, and you looked amazing, first of all. And you've got this full team around you. And it always looks like when we see fun promo shots, like, oh, they just, took some photos. How long did it actually take?
You know what? I've got to say, we probably had a whole day, but we knocked out like a good like 7 different looks, like really like a bunch of different looks. And the team was amazing. Like hair and makeup was so fantastic. And we would just change it up and it was like, I'm a different person. Now we're more free. Now we're dancing. Now I'm intimidating. We're just a little bit of liner. It's amazing what a winged eye can do. But that was fun. But it's it's all part of like dressing up, and it's so much fun and playing different roles, and I love that. I love it.
And I mean, there's so much that goes into every aspect of making the movie. So when did you guys actually wrap?
Well, we went back for reshoots this past January, and that was the end of it. So I guess we wrapped last summer, right around 4th of July, and then we went back for reshoots this past January, and they were still plugging a bunch of stuff, and then they were still doing a bunch of special effects stuff recently when I went in for like doing ADR and stuff. But it's I've never worked on something on this scale before, and it's a whole other world.
And I mean, that's a long time to keep your lips zipped, too. And I imagine...
I'm so bad at keeping secrets. I don't know what that is. I'm so bad at keeping secrets, but I've been very good. It's like when I knew my sister was going to get proposed to, and I was like, oh, and I would refuse to like answer her phone calls because I was afraid I would say something that would give it away.
So during this time, I mean, you went back in January, but you've had almost a full year now by the time the movie comes out.
Yeah.
How did your family, I assume, was like, so, Britt, how was it?
Right.
How much
did you... I'm your dad. Yeah.
So how much did you have to try and toe the line to give them the information they wanted without breaking a confidentiality clause?
Oh, they don't know anything. No, because I feel like for me too, it's a very slippery slope. Like once I say one thing, even if it's to like, well, my sister won't say anything, forget it. Like I just have to close it off to everyone until June 3rd.
Right. And then everyone can go. So will you be going to the theater with your family to see it?
So the premiere is so the premiere is at Madison Square Garden in New York, and I'll just be flying out for that. My husband's staying in LA with our 2-year-old. Good luck to him. And then once I come back and it's actually released, and we're gonna take a big group and the whole family to go to a theater and watch it together.
So so you'll be in the theater.
Yeah.
And do you think, based on your family, will someone want to stand up and say, "Hey everyone, guess who's in the theater with you"?
Oh, that'll be my dad. Yeah. For sure. My dad will do that just walking down the street. Like was my publicist before I even understood what that whole concept was. So yeah, I can count on that happening for sure.
Which is also a very nice compliment that your family is so
Yeah.
proud of you that they want to stand up and sing
so
it from the
supportive.
rooftops.
They're so supportive, and there's no shame there. Like it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
And while we've got Ninja Turtles coming out in June, you also have Grayson Frankie coming out.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that.
So season 2 is released on Netflix on this Friday on May 6th, and it's been such an incredible experience. I mean, obviously Jane Fonda and Lily Tomlin are icons to me, and I know many others. And being able to work with them, and also Marta Kaufman, like seeing what she's created is so inspiring, and it's such a wonderful set to work on. It's so free, it's so friendly. Being able to be in a scene and just sit there all day and like watch Lily Tomlin work is like, what? I'm getting paid to do this? It's crazy, and it's funny, and it's such a wonderful. It's been a really wonderful experience. I'm really grateful for it. Also, it films in Los Angeles, which is like that's really nice too. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, if people want to watch you, where can they keep up with you on social media? Let's remind everyone where they can come find you.
If you go to Britt Ishibashi, BrittIshibashi. I know it's a long name. I was going to change it to my married name Horowitz, but then like, who's Brittany Horowitz? So Britt Ishibashi on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And then also my website, BrittanyIshibashi.com.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for being here. This was so much fun.
It was a pleasure.
And I feel like I want like a big martial arts punch.
I know. I know. We should like.
I know. I'm sad that we're tethered.
I know. We'll be stuck.
Well, thanks everyone for joining us. I'm Zoe Hewitt. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Zoe Said What. That's Zoe Said What. And until next time, have a great time at the movies. Bye-bye. Yay.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Popcorn Talk Network or its owners or principals.